Well, as the weekend draws to a close, that doesn't mean we ended right here. We're going to be reviewing, of course, Stardom's recent event, the 5-star special in Hiroshima, where, of course, we have the high speed title, the Goddesses of Stardom titles, the uh, uh, the New Japan Strong, and the White Belt on the line. But also, we featured three other matches involving the 5-star Grand Prix. And then we move on with our final review, which is, of course, All Out, back to Chicago, where it always goes every single year, where we're going to see, of course, a lot of interesting matches. The international title is on the line. We have a serious 8-man tag match. We have the Bullet Club Gold versus uh, Young Bucks and FTR, and plenty other matches. And plus, we have some news updates to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as you know, Julia has been successful in defending her titles. Apparently, she made up a list on who she would like to wrestle, and we got plenty others to tell what's been going on as well. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Gerard here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do daily reviews on every wrestling show anywhere in the world, such as here in the States, Mexico, Japan, Canada, anywhere. If you like what you see, please subscribe to us. You'll be getting a lot of reviews from various promotions and also other things such as, discussions and all this other cool stuff that I'll be doing. But if you like this episode, please give us a like, also a comment down below in the bottom. So let's get started with our very first review, and this is from the Joshi promotion, Stardom. Now, as you know, they continue with more of the 5-star Grand Prix, but however, 4 title matches have been served on this one, and the location where they done this show is in Hiroshima. Now, this is a very interesting thing for 2 reasons. One, this is the home of Risa Serra, who is in fact uh, competing for the New Japan Strong Women's title against Julia. This is her home prefecture. She's from the town of Serra, which explains her last name. But also, if you guys know this pretty well, almost 10 months ago, this is where the same location where Mina Shirakawa actually got injured. If you're unfamiliarized what happened, let me give a quick recap. Almost 10 months ago, almost close to a year, Mina Shirakawa was in a title match for the white belt, and there was a botch moment by Sayaka Mitan, who at the time was the white belt champion, and of course, um, she missed and hit Mina's mouth, and causing a lot of that sort of thing. But however, Mina was a bit more nervous due to the fact that this is more of a, like, she can't forget about that particular day, but she tries effortlessly to forget about it or try to move on from it, however you do it. But as you know, Mina opened up the show with teaming with, of course, once again with Mariah May. So both of them, as members of Club Venus, take on Micah and a very strong woman, Mega Bane. Now, you probably would think that their silliness to try to think that there's ways to take on Mega Bane. I mean, look, Mega Bane, we can say she's the one person who can try to end this match, which she did. She did apply a F5 onto Mariah May to pick up the win. So I was like, well, that was to expected. But yes. So now Our next three matches are involved of the 5-star Grand Prix. Um, our first match is in the blue start block. We have Momo Watanabe versus Utami Ayashida. Now, this is a very interesting match. Now, those who may remember, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Those who don't know, let me explain to you. Almost 2 years ago, during a particular match where Odo Tai and Queen's Quest, two units that had been at war with each other, were in a match where, of course, um, they do this thing where either the last person who gets eliminated either has to leave their unit or join the unit, however they want to put it. However, in this particular day, it was Odo Tai. But during this time, this is where, of course, Momo Watanabe was the leader of Queen's Quest, stabbed her teammates in the back and siding with Odo Tai. However, this is the first time that these two has confronted each other. This is like a very more like, I'm gonna get you for what you did almost 2 years ago. Of course, Momo doesn't care as long as she gets what she wants, which is, of course, win the match. But however, Momo will try to use that dang bat of hers in order to win. But however, that did not go well for Momo because she ended in the wrong side of the hijack bomb by Utami Ishida, and she picked up a very good win on this one. So, however, because of the point system, this is what we have. Momo remain at 6 points, and um, Utami Ishida with 8 points. So I believe she is currently maybe in the lead in the blue star block. So we'll see as time progresses during the 5-star Grand Prix tournament. Now our next two matches are regarding of the 5-star Grand Prix. This is part of the Red Star block. We have Starlight Kid versus Tam Nakano. Now these two ladies are no strangers of each other. If you're unfamiliarized what I'm referring to, for those who are new or trying to catch up with Stardom, let me explain. These two ladies were part of the unit known as Stars. Now, Tam Nakano, on the other hand, left Stars to form Cosmic Angels back almost 3 years ago. But as for Starlight Kid, a year later after Tam left, she was snatched away during during elimination match to be part of Oedo Tai. Over time, of course, Starlight Kid embraced the dark side and accepted it. But however, that very same year, when Tam was the white belt champion, Starlight Kid was unable to beat her at the time. So she thought that maybe in this particular match, but I have to say it was a great performance. You know for a fact that Starlight Kid would try to beat her in every way possible. Even a chance if she pins her, she will get an opportunity for the red belt, which is something she desires as well. Even though her leader of Oedo Tai, Natsuko Tora, most likely will get a title shot of that. But unfortunately, she ended up on the wrong side of the violet screwdriver, winning the match. So Tam, on the other hand, walks away with the victory, and she leaves with 7 points with 3 wins and 1 draw. I think she might have maybe, I don't know how many losses, but yeah. But as for Starlight Kid, she only has 2 wins so far. Now, continuing with more of the Red Star block on the 5-star, we have Suri and Mayu Iwatani. Now, these two ladies, of course, are leaders of their own respective units. Suri is the leader of God's Eye, and Mayu the leader of Stars. Now, this is not the first time these two have tangled with each other. Now, Suri have always been determined to beat Mayu since she is known as the icon of Stardom. That's always been the very case between those two. But however, nothing was. Suri was determined to pick up the win, which she did when she picked up a very interesting pinfall. Now, however, I'm not sure if I heard this right. It appears because of this match, Mayu is eliminated out of the tournament. I'm not sure if I heard that correctly, but from I can gather from the point system on this one, both of them have 7 points each. I know Suri had a draw with Natsupoi, and of course 3 wins. So is Mayu, because she did have a tie with Tam, 3 wins. So we'll see how that rolls up. Now our first title match, we have Momo. This is for the high speed title. We have Momo Kogo taking on the champion Saki Kashima. Now, this was a match that was, of course, reverse nominated by Kashima. Now, for a while, Kashima has been avoiding one particular person, and that is, of course, Mei Sita. Why was she avoiding her? Maybe because out of fear that she could lose. However, she picked Momokogo. I don't know if she picked up that maybe because she thought she was an easy opponent to take on. But however, in this match, Momo put all the effort into this match, not to mention um, really pushed Kashima to the test and pushed her to her limits. But in this case, it was Saki Kashima with the Kishikase that picked up the win to retain her title. And I believe this is her third or fourth defense so far. But yeah, so we'll see what happens until then. Now, our next match, we have the Goddesses of Stardom Championships. This is the tag titles. We have the challengers, Mei Sita and Suzuki. Now, these two ladies issued the challenge not too long ago against Cosmic Angel members Sayuru Inui and Natsupoi. Now, it's interesting because, of course, Inui and Zuzu were once friends back in their Ice Ribbon days. But now they're going to be right opposite from each other. Now, what I did like about this match is a high-speed moment between both Natsupoi and Mei Sita. So both these ladies are high-speed competitors. So you probably wouldn't imagine that this was going to go that way. But however, you can tell there were moments where Zuzu was determined to pick up the win, but however, it did not. It was, of course, Sayuri who picked up the win on Mei Sita with the attempts tendre and retaining the title. So this is their probably second defense so far. However, during the post-match, out of nowhere, here comes Saki Kashima. First, she was looking on the tag belt, and then she turned her attention to Mei Sita. And of course, she decided to issue her challenge for give her the title for the high speed. Now, she did avoid her, but watching this match, she was like feeling like, okay, you lost the match, maybe I don't have to worry too much. So basically, she decided to give her the title match that she's longed for. However, during the post-match comment, Mei Sita's like, kind of like flabbergasted. It's like, why did you accept the challenge till now, but in the worst possible way? So I think for Mei Sita, she thinks that it's irresponsible of Saki Kashima to just issue it like that. But well, she doesn't want to lose the title. That's the one thing she's concerned. But yeah, but however, as soon as that happened, Natsupoi and Sorinoi have now witnessed next challengers, and this time is coming from Queen's Quest, more specifically Azumi and Utame Ishida. So they are the next challengers for these tag belts. So I'm sure they'll be doing it in the next pay-per-view. So we'll see how that rolls up. Now, our next match, this is for the Wonder of Stardom Championship, aka the White Belt. Now, this particular match was set upon when there's like a bit of a, not argument, but more of a disagreement between two members of God's Eye. We have Mirai and Konami. Now, Konami's issue is that she felt that, things have changed with God's Eye ever since Saki Kashima joined. But Mirai was the one who was in her defense, in Kashima's defense. So basically, they're trying to prove who was right. But one thing I like about this match, there's a reason why Konami is known as the submission sniper. So basically, she can try to put you in a submission and try to try to dissect you. Like, for example, she was trying to take out the arm of Mirai on various ways possible. So I thought that was interesting for her. But of course, Mirai knows that she has to fight through the pain no matter what, until she applied the lariat on her, the pick one. She nearly clunked her head off. So it was a very impressive defense by Mirai. But what I did like about is, of course, during the post-match, you see Saki Kashima crying. And of course, Mirai tells Konami, you noticed that she was not even in my corner. So basically, she was telling her that she still considers Konami as a friend. The reasons behind that is that both Konami and Kashima knew each other from their time with Oedo Tai. But of course, Konami had to leave due to her health issues that she was suffering back in 2021, and we all know what happened to Kashima. She was eliminated in that match and expelled from Oedo Tai. But however, Mirai was willing to have them, let go of the past and just move forward to be friends. And of course, Kashima is up for the task. But of course, Konami will never change because she likes to flip people out. That's who basically she is. But however, Sudi, who is the leader of God's Eye, was happy that now that everybody can get along, reconcile, however. But she did say that in next pay-per-view she wants to have a UWF rules match. So she kind of called out. She even tried to scare Kashima, even though Kashima's afraid of her when it comes to battling each other. But of course, it was just a joke. But she did call out someone from that. But the one person I did not expect was going to answer the call was none other than Mina Shirakawa. Now, some of you can say, does Mina have what it takes? Look, Mina has been training in MMA for who knows how long. We know she has great roundhouse kicks, like striking kicks to the chest. That's pretty good that we know she can do. We know she does have the capability of a bit of submissions if she wanted to. So that can show us right there. So I'm really curious how this one's going to go. I'm sure Sudi is kind of like thinking, do you know what you're getting yourself into? But Mina is up for the challenge, as you see it. Now, our next match is our main event. This is for the New Japan Strong Women's title between Risa Sera and Giulia. Now, these two ladies are old acquaintances from back from their Ice Ribbon days. Now, if you don't know the backstory, let me give it to it quickly for everyone. Giulia had debuted with Ice Ribbon back in 2017, but Risa Sera played her senior, basically her senpai, during that time. So that's pretty much it. But of course, back in 2019, when Risa Sera got married, Giulia did stated that Risa Sera got a little weak. But on that very particular year as well, that was the time where Giulia made the controversial buzz when she left Ice Ribbon while she's still under contract by them to appear in Stardom. So that's what happened. Of course, a few years later, in early 2022, in late 2021 at first, Risa Sera and many of their friends decided to leave Ice Ribbon and do freelancing instead. And of course, months later, in early 2022, we saw Risa Sera, along with her unit, Prominence, along with former people who appeared in Ice Ribbon, invade Stardom to declare war against Giulia. Now, we all know what happened with Zuzu. She left Prominence to go on her own because she's on her quest to be the face of pro wrestling. That's always been what she wants. And of course, Risa Sera mentioned that she wanted the challenge for this belt because she and Giulia never faced off each other in a title match. They have faced off each other, but I'm pretty much sure that maybe Risa Sera might have won a lot of their matches. But this is where Giulia, of course, she's proving that she is the strongest of them all. Risa Sera, who has been also a strong wrestler, but it was Giulia who walked away when she applied the Northern Light Bomb and picked up the win. But of course, she did tell Risa Sera that it was great to see her again. And of course, she even stated one time that Risa Sera now is divorced. Zuzu is no longer part of Prominence, so she felt that she'll look after Zuzu because it was Risa who looked out after her. But of course, Zuzu has no intentions of joining DDM. She wants to do things her way. But right now, even though there's more to come with Giulia, and I'll explain to that on the news updates. So I think that's pretty much it with Stardom. So let's move on with our final review, AEW All Out. Okay, our final review, AEW All Out. Once again, we're in Chicago, and of course, I'm sure a lot of the Chicago fan base are not happy with the results of what happened after All In. You may have heard the story of course, the news. The CM Punk was fired from AEW due to what the incident that took place in All In. So that's kind of one thing that kind of goes out when you think about where they're at. But the show must go on. But to be honest with you, I have to say Tony Khan did a pretty amazing job with this particular pay-per-view for everyone to enjoy. But let's get started. Our first match features the ROH World Tag Team titles. We have the Dark Order members consistent of Alex Reynolds and John Silver. Tagging along with them is, of course, is Evil Uno. They face against Better Than You, baby, consistent of Adam Cole and MJF. Now, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, Adam Cole and MJF just recently won these titles at the 0 hour in All In London, England at Wembley Stadium. They defeated Aussie Open for these titles, and then of course on Rampage they issued a battle royale, and Dark Order in fact won that battle royale. But however, the history between both Dark Order and of course the champions goes a long way back. So you probably think that's going to play a factor into this. However, MJF at some point got hurt in the back of his head and was carried out to, of course, to be checked upon. But however, Adam Cole knows that if he goes, he's going to make them look bad to be counted out. So he had to stay to fight on for both of them. So he did everything great by himself. Of course, Uno was going to get involved somehow. But out of nowhere, MJF shows up and, of course, tries to hang on as possible. And once again, he did the one thing that made me go, "What the hell?" When I saw when after All In, we're talking about the kangaroo kick. So I thought that was amazing. And then, of course, they Adam and MJF finished off the Dark Order with the double clothesline. It was over, just like that. Now, when we thought things were coming interesting out of nowhere, as soon as MJF and Adam Cole were leaving, Samoa Joe comes out. Then he shoves MJF. So MJF doesn't like to be disrespected that way. But out of nowhere, MJF attacks Joe out of the blue. But of course, they had to separate them. But Joe, on the other hand, has to stay his composure due to the fact that he is facing against Shane Taylor, who's determined to win back the ROH television title. Excuse me. But anyway, you probably could think this is going to be a hoss fight match. Well, I think it was. But in the end, it was Samoa Joe with the chokehold that put away Shane Taylor to retain the title. So, but I think many of us are questioning, will he target MJF for the AEW World title? It could possibly go in that direction. But we'll see how that rolls out. Now, our next match is the TNT title. Darby Allin versus Luchasaurus. Now, as you know, Christian, who declares himself the TNT champion, has started going on into Darby Allin's world, criticizing him for the lack of person that he is. You know, he even once again disrespected Nick Wayne by saying about his mom and all that. But however, you know that Nick Wayne was going to back up Darby Allin no matter what. But of course, Christian was going to get himself involved in this. But out of nowhere, when we thought that Darby was this close in defeating Luchasaurus, Christian Cage threatened to hurt Nick Wayne in front of him. And then, of course, Luchasaurus got him with the back of the head with the forearm and picked up the win. But however, he was determined to put as soon as Luchasaurus retained the title, Christian Cage decided to put Darby Allin out of his misery, but have Nick Wayne watch him take out Darby Allin once and for all. But luckily, Shawn Spears shows up with some members of the locker room to help Darby. Now, keep in mind, Shawn Spears did challenge for the title, but Christian Cage refuses to give him that because he thinks that he is not violent enough. But sooner or later, Shawn Spears will get his hands on Christian Cage one way or the other. Now, This next match is a battle of the Haas fights. We have Powerhouse Hobbs and Mero. Now, a lot of questions that came in about this. Now, keep in mind, Aaron Solo from QTV actually attacked Mero. We don't know why. And then, of course, when Powerhouse Hobbs called him out, of course, QTV showed up. But Mero was determined to set an example of him about redemption and all this other stuff. Now, we did witness the contract signing at All In, but you probably would have thought who was going to walk out. Now, in the back of my head, I would have thought maybe Powerhouse Hobbs would have walked away with the win, but it took only Game Over, which is the camel clutch on by Mero to put away Hobbs, and that was it. However, in the match, Mero showed respect to Hobbs, but Hobbs wasn't having it, so he attacked him out of the blue. But out of nowhere, we saw CJ Perry, Mero's wife, appeared out of the blue. But Hobbs was determined to wipe out Mero with the chair, and then of course, wipe out Mero. But CJ actually used the chair on Powerhouse Hobbs. Then of course, Mero fought back. But of course, Mero looked surprised to see CJ, so he decided to walk out. Now, according to an exclusive interview, that she had no idea what happened, like why he just left her. So we'll probably see more of that on Wednesday when the day comes. So we'll see when we get there. Now, our next match is the TBS title between Ruby Soho and Chris Statlander. Now, this is a very interesting fact about this. As you know, Chicago is near dear to Ruby Soho's heart since she wrestled there for many years. However, Ruby Soho does have a big, impressive record towards Chris Statlander. Statlander has never beaten her. So the obvious question is, will that be an X factor in this whole thing? Well, it kind of did, but Saraya, who is the current AEW Women's Champion, was involved in this. But here's the much interesting thing that you all need to see here. We saw that Saraya passed on the spray can to Ruby Soho, but Toni Storm showed up out of the blue underneath the ring and took the spray can. Ruby Soho and Saraya were in disbelief what they just witnessed. But however, because of this distraction, Chris Statlander was able to apply the Sunday Night Fever onto Ruby Soho to retain the TBS title. So the obvious thing is this. Lexi Nair did state it. Is there a problem now with the Outcast? But of course, Ruby Soho and Saraya refuse to accept that there's any truth. But after this actions, this is what's been going on. But we did see how Toni Storm has been acting up, saying that she doesn't trust anybody. We all know what happened All In. She accidentally hit Saraya's mom. But of course, Saraya wasn't having it and kicked her ass for that. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions this coming Wednesday towards Toni Storm's actions. So Ruby Soho and Saraya probably would want to hear this. Now, next match, it's a strap match. This is one of the most brutal matches you ever get to see. I mean, I did see a strap match, an Indian strap match not too long ago between Natsupo and Sorino. You saw how violent that one is. But if you think that one's more violent, think again. This is where, of course, both Bryan Danielson and Ricky Starks made themselves bleed in every way possible. Now, you know the kind of violent person, of course, Bryan Danielson can be. But the one thing that ended this match very precise is, of course, when Bryan applied the label lock, but he knew that Stark was not going to give up, so he used the strap to choke him some more until he passed out. Referee Aubrey Edwards decided it's over, just like that. Now, next match we have Katsuyori Shibata teaming up with Eddie Kingston, taking on members of the Blackpool Combat Club, Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. Now, keep in mind, we know that Yuta has challenged Shibata before, but however, the never-ending story between Claudio and Kingston has always been ongoing. Claudio never respected. Um, Claudio and Kingston never respected each other. They were never friends. There was a bit of jealousy, and all this other stuff. But of course, Claudio was disgusted with the fact that Eddie went to New Japan to participate for the G1, which of course pissed him off. But I have to say, Eddie was practically had this match almost won. But however, it was an unsurprising uppercut, a European uppercut by Claudio to put away Eddie to pick up the win. So the honest question is this: that of course it was told. Will Eddie finally bury the hatchet or end things with them? But of course, Claudio said he hopes so. But we'll see how it is. Eddie's not the easiest person to try to mend some fences. Now, our next match, this is between two wrestlers who known each other from their time in the Japanese promotion DDT. We're talking about Konosuke Takeshita and Eddie and Kenny Omega. Now, this whole thing began when Don Callis turned on Kenny because he called them weak because of his association with the Bucks and friends. And he says that I made you into the pro wrestling god and I can destroy you. And he declared Konosuke Takeshita the new god of pro wrestling and also a son. So he is confident enough to believe that Konosuke Takeshita will surpass them. But of course, him being in Takeshita's corner, it was going to be a factor where Kenny has to have eyes in the back of his head. But he believes that this match will solidify, saying that Kenny has no place whatsoever in AEW. And of course, it was a sweet match. But however, Kenny got the knee strike not once but twice. One with the pad, one with the other. But it did put away Kenny to pick up the win. So this is where, of course, Don Callis says that Kenny is done. He's out of AEW, but I don't think Kenny's gonna leave that easily. Now, next match we have the Bullet Club Gold versus FTR and the Bucks. Now, what I liked about this match is this: the Bucks and FTR did apply their own signature moves. Now, the FTR does the spike pile drive, and of course, Bucks do the BET trigger. You have one FTR, one Buck doing the pile driver, one Buck and the other FTR doing a BTE trigger. I'm like, Jesus, it's like they were able to coexist, but somehow the Bullet Club Gold always figured out ways to outmaneuver their opponents to pick up the win. But it was, of course, Jay White with the Blade Runner onto Cash Wheeler. Then Colton Gunn picked up the win. So now you see that there's no cracks within the Bullet Club Gold. But of course, over time, there will be a crack somehow. Now, our main event is the AEW International title. Now, Jon Moxley, as you know, has been desired to pick up gold once again. But the one person who made the international title look what it is now is Orange Cassidy, who's been on many matches, battered, bruised, beaten up, and all that. Now he faces a guy he has never beaten before. So I have to say this was a big fight of Orange Cassidy's life. You probably would have imagined that he went to hell and back over this one, and he did. But the final moments is when Orange Cassidy flipped off Jon Moxley. Like he was daring him to say, "Finish me off," which he did with the Death Rider or Paradigm Shift, and just like that, he became the brand new AEW World International Champion. So he picked up that title. But of course, Orange Cassidy had a very standing ovation from the fan base. And of course, this was not actually shown, but there was a photo where you see Chuck, Trent, and Chris Sadler come out to his side, and of course they gave him a hug, knowing that he did his best. So, and he tweeted this: "Now I can lie down." So it's like, okay, I'm tired. Now I can sleep. So basically, after defending that belt constantly, he can rest. So we'll see what happens until then. So I have to say, all that was great. I have to say, I was like, many of us were concerned maybe because for the Chicago fan base because of CM Punk's fired. Well, we'll see how that rolls up. But for now, we'll just end things right here with our reviews and move on with our last and final thing, which is news updates. Okay, welcome to our news update. So this is what we have. Now, for all you Joshi fans out there, you may remembered a while back, a few months ago, um, Asahi, who eventually was from Ice Ribbon, decided to go on a loan to the promotion At Risk Girls. Now, let me give you a backstory about this. At Risk Girls is not an actual, well, they are a pro wrestling company, but they mostly focus on theater. Asahi made a surprising appearances in At Risk Girls, even though she's from Ice Ribbon. But of course, there were times where we were wondering why was she doing it. But however, 6 or 7 months ago, Asahi announced that she'll be will be on a loan to At Risk Girls by Ice Ribbon. But here's what we did know. Apparently, her contract with Ice Ribbon expired last month, and now she signed a full-time contract with At Risk Girls. Of course, Asahi was wondering back then that she might have lost her position there. I mean, there was a lot of questions going on with Ice Ribbon. Now, I'm not saying Ice Ribbon is a terrible show. There was practically problems with the upper management. So that was something that was brought upon by certain people. But who knows how that's going to go. So Asahi is now officially out of Ice Ribbon due to her contract expired. But she now signs a full-time contract with At Risk Girls. So we'll see how things progress with her in that promotion. And I'm sure everybody in At Risk Girl are happy to have her there. Now, as you know, before All Out, there was the Starcast. Eddie Kingston had a little sit down with his hero Kawada, and Sonny Ono, who was there too, but also did the translating to Kawada. He did tell Kawada that he would love to have AEW to held a show at Budokan in Tokyo, Japan. Of course, Kawada was really ecstatic about it. But of course, Kawada even says that he likes the fact that many fans are now learning who Kawada really is. I mean, he is Eddie Kingston's hero. And of course, he did say that, that Eddie knows more about him more than he knows himself. But he did say, why did he uses the Northern Light Bomb that often? And he say that, oh, it's an easier move for me to use. So it makes perfect sense. So it's great that he is, that he got to share this with Kawada about having hopefully one day AEW go to Japan and do a show in Budokan. I'm sure Tony Khan will love to do something like this. I'm sure many of you AEW fans will say, let's do it. Now, updates for the Deadlock Pro Wrestling Show Carolina Classic. Emi Sakura will put her title on the line, the women's title, against Nicole Matthews. Now, Fightful Select has confirmed that Sonny Kiss is no longer with the company, with AEW. Her contract, in fact, expired. Now, free agent. So we'll see where she goes on from here. Spark, Yoshi, Puroresu of America, as you know, they made their announcement for an upcoming show in Orlando, Florida, at the East Side. They announced already Ram Kaicho will be there, but Miyu Yamashita has been announced that she will be on that particular day on October 14th. Now, Julia made this interesting thing about upcoming opponents that she wants to wrestle to defend the New Japan Strong title. This is what she had to say. She wants to make the New Japan Strong belt the #1 in the world. I want to keep defending this belt, give strength to everyone. She said, I was a little nervous, But as soon as my entrance song started, I could hear the cheers sounded like screams all the way to the back. I felt there were people all over the world waiting for Julia. Julia will make the belt the best belt in the world. There are many women who I want to fight. I want to fight Mercedes Monet, Tony Storm, Diana Perrazzo, Rina Yamashita, and also I want to fight Suri, or as we know her, Saray, who said she interested in the Stardom belt. Now, Suri has never mentioned anything about the New Japan Strong women's title. She talked about the IWGP women's titles. That's what she's aiming for. So basically, she's trying to say, forget about that belt. This is a go after mine. But she said, that the reason she wants to have her the challenge for this belt, she's perfect. So we'll see how that rolls up. Now, as you know, Stardom will have their next show on October 9th. And this one is the Nagoya Golden Fight. The 4 matches have been now confirmed by Scott Edwards on this one. We have the UWF rules towards Suri and Mina Shirakawa. The high-speed title between Saki Kushima and Meisita. The Goddesses of Stardom, Cosmic Angels, Sadio Inouye, and Natsupoi will defend them against Queen's Quest, Utami Ishida, and Azumi. And of course, the World of Stardom, Tam Nakano, defends the red belt against Natsuko Tora. Now, I want to give a little of my time on this particular match between Tam and Natsuko Tora. Now, there's a little thought that I have in mind about this match that makes me think of this. Let's say, for the sake of the argument, that Natsuko Tora loses this match on October 9th. But what if she wins the 5-star Grand Prix and decides to cash it in by the end of this year? That is the strong possibility. We know that Natsuko Tora has challenged the red belt before. This was about 2 years ago, but she ended up injured. So anything's a possibility on that front. So we'll see how that goes. Now, we're only like 1 month away or so for that. So we'll be following along from there. So I think that's pretty much it for our news updates. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, I have no idea what to do, but I do know that the latest MLW show was out, the Fury of Road, and of course there's the Wrestling Revolver Redacted Forever. I'll probably make those two as a priority. Also, for everybody's information, the N1 victory by Pro Wrestling Noah is officially over. I did not do day 8, 7, or 8, but I'm considering doing the finals. Apparently, there was a lot of exciting things that took place on the last day, so we'll see how that progresses. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do that or not. But for now, I'll just stick to what I'm saying at the moment. So for now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.